what it is. People, humans out there, what's happening? I hope you're as concerned as I am about the news today. Well, big news today. Yeah. Big news cosmically. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, the master manipulator who controlled many things from behind the scenes. Really from behind the scenes. Like, he made sure people really didn't know about him. Even where he could hang out with famous people after he was convicted. So that's Epstein. So huge cluster F today because basically Orwell sums it up. Says, I feel like Charlie Brown tricked into trying to kick the football again. Yeah, it's like, how many times you say, sir, will we be promised disclosure? And how many times will we be denied? And like, how long will we take it? That's the question. God wants to know. Like, how long are we going to put up with it? Not knowing the truth, the actual truth. How long are we going to put up with it? I mean, basically. Or will the world end first? Like, will we all kill each other? Because disclosure, very dangerous. It's very dangerous to disclose information which would otherwise be secret, which people wish to be kept secret. Very, very dangerous. Dangerous for humanity, biblically. Like, we are not made to know the truth, the actual truth. We have a veil here in this realm that prevents us from seeing it. It blinds us. The truth is blinding. So, that because of that, it made me wonder, like, about this whole disclosure thing, because Trump ran on a theme of disclosure. If you really think about it, he said, we're going to expose all the dirty secrets. This time, much different from the first time. I wonder if he is a different man. Somehow he was set to the fire and emerged, after January 6th and everything. Somehow he was like put to the fire of judgment and he emerged like victorious. And he said he was going to expose all the secrets, which, God likes, actually, to expose corruption because he hates corruption. So if we expose that, if we let people know what evil is going on in this world, then that's good. But there are consequences. Like, people don't want it to happen. People with lots of resources don't want there to be disclosure for various reasons, mostly selfish ones. So we have many promises of disclosure right now. And it will all be disclosed before the end. But you should be concerned. I mean, if you're concerned about living on Earth until you die of natural causes, which, human lives are getting longer and longer, it seems like. So do you want to live out the rest of your years in this natural existence? Or are you willing to be judged with fire anytime? Are you prepared for that? And then we don't know what comes next. But that's what we're talking about, like, cosmically here with the Epstein stuff. It's like Epstein Epstein, well, he's tied. What do we want to talk about? The release of the information by Pam Bondi. She promised the information would be released today. She promised it on Fox News. She said the information will be released today, but it's complicated. And it's going to be divulged over time. And how was it divulged? I mean, that's like, can you go on the internet and read it? From my understanding, not yet. Maybe. It's possible it's out now. Somebody, one of the influencers, said that wasn't meant to be disclosed. I'll show you the history here. How are you all doing? Are you doing okay? It's wonderful to see you here. Always good to commune with you, people. Always good. Javier says it is just like the UFO exposure. It will never be released. Yeah, I read that the people who've talked to the, aliens, non-human intelligence, that if they disclose to humanity that they're in a video game, pretty much like a training, a simulation, a training simulation for higher dimensional beings which control us, our thoughts and so forth, then humanity wouldn't know how to take that. And I kind of agree. It's like kind of heavy. Like, oh, really? I have free will, but I'm being mind controlled by it. That's nice. We call it God, or there is God. Okay. Like, people really, really will get spun out. I could see why the government would be like, oh yeah, we maybe don't want to tell people that. So we'll put this Lou Elizondo puppet out there. Well, he must be, right? He's government sanctioned. All the information that's been released about aliens is government sanctioned so far. You have to realize that. They're like, okay, we're going to, yeah. They're trying to put together some kind of plan. They're going to see if they can do like limited hangouts in, succession, and gradually, prepare humans for the truth. All right, guys. Well, good to see you guys. We will start the show officially. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman, and I bring you the news, the real news. Yeah, that's right. The future also. It is now. Right now, the future, kind of. It's possible if you think about it. It's possible. So we're talking about like demonic forces, like Jeffrey Epstein, that were controlling Jeffrey Epstein. His seeking to control everything. He got himself immunity. So here's the thing: people who are I've seen many of the documents, which I believe have been sealed since I've seen them, because I don't think I can find them anymore. The documents which basically showed Virginia Giuffre's testimony, where she talked about all of the people. Prince. That's where she talked about Prince. Which prince was it? Prince. Not Albert. God, why am I forgetting? I'm really weird with names. Sometimes they come to me perfectly. Sometimes they just disappear. It's crazy. All right, so Prince Epstein. Andrew. Yeah, okay. I thought it started with an A. Prince Andrew. She mentioned that in her depositions. She also talked about some hotel owner who I was able to speculate on, who is pictured with Naomi Campbell. She didn't mention the name. She didn't mention the names of everybody, but Virginia mentioned like many like prime ministers, world leaders. So you have to wonder about Tony Blair for sure, because she mentioned prime minister for sure, and she didn't say which country, but put two and two together. So she mentioned a bunch of stuff. And then, so what we're talking about, if there is disclosure, and what they did is they gave binders to influencers, including libs of TikTok, which say the Epstein files, phase 1. See, they can't give us what they promised. I kind of knew they couldn't. So how are they going to do that? Really? There's got to be people. I mean, okay, like there's politicians in there. Like there you go. So there's politicians in there. Let's say, I don't know for certain, but in those depositions they mentioned like influential people, politicians, and stuff. So let's say that's the case, then there's a lot of reasons for there to be forces that would not want those forces within the government. So, well, that's the story, apparently. Actually, the story is apparently from people who heard it from Pam Bondi, not that we've seen publicly that I have a clip of or anything, but these influencers, okay, so this is the deal, supposedly, is these influencers, including libs of TikTok. Who else? Cernovich, I think Cernovich. Yeah, Cernovich is there. I don't know the guy on the left with the beard. I don't know who that is. So there's Chaya libs of TikTok. There's Cernovich, I think, hiding most of his face. And libs of TikTok is laughing. And okay, so people are like, "Oh, this is a photo op. This is like a staged photo op." And it's pretty bad, really. Like that idiot, Miles Chong, Ian Miles Chong, or however you say his name, Ian Miles Chong. He was like, "Oh, look at this! Look what the Trump administration is." He was like, "You are the media now," and I was like, "When you say you, do you mean the conservative influencers who are given the information exclusively?" And then apparently have like there must be some kind of blackout or something on it, because I haven't seen, or I just haven't seen yet, any of them saying like what they saw in the files. Just people saying it's disappointment, it's basically old news, it's flight logs, it's stuff that people have already seen, pretty much. That's already been made public. Flight logs and Rolodex. And his Rolodex, it does have a bunch of numbers for Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump was definitely one of his main contacts. So people are going to probably seize on that, liberals. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what this meeting was about. Apparently, Pam Bondi told them that the FBI is, and maybe the Southern District of New York are both stonewalling and not giving up the information. Like they're being requested the information, and they're not giving it to their superiors, basically. So here, this is the this is the letter about it. So there is like a letter that Pam Bondi put out, I guess, from today that says, okay, hold on. Okay. That says that Pam Bondi requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names. Oh, yeah. See, that's nice. So they're going to list. They're willing to give out the victims' names and phone numbers. Really? Okay, that makes sense. But not the perpetrators. Not the perpetrators. So anyway, this is a letter from Pam Bondi asking them to like get their shit together and give them the information that has been requested. And like she is doing the direct will of our leader, Donald Trump, right now. Like she is channeling his will in asking for those records. And by denying it, like it's not good. It's not good. It's bad karma. Do not do what you're told by people who are better than you. So anyway, that's what's going on. Apparently the FBI and Pam Bondi, I guess, told people in this thing that the FBI was withholding documents. So people like people are saying that there's like a internal revolt, like it's some kind of serious conflict. People are referring to this as the ultimate limited hangout. I mean, basically, if that's the information, which it seems like it is, and it was distributed just to these influencers. Apparently, it's not available online yet, but it may be. Someone said there was going to be a press conference, and then in concurrence with the files being posted online for everybody to access publicly. But I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any evidence that there's actually going to be any kind of press conference. But one of the influencers said that it wasn't meant to be a photo op. Okay, so I showed you the photo op, right? It wasn't meant to be a photo op. The photographers were all there actually because of Keir Starmer, who was visiting, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, who was visiting. So that's why they were there. They just happened to see all these people come out of a meeting in the Oval Office carrying these binders, and then everybody held up the binders for the photo op. Some people are saying many things. It's very controversial. People don't want to say bad things about the influencers, but then they're like, oh, should they really be smiling? You know, when it's like not even good information, not even new information, nothing new. It sounds like nothing new will be released in this batch of documents. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, there are people who don't want it to come out. So with a lot of influence. So it'll be amazing if it does come out. What else were we supposed to get? The JFK files, which I think Kash Patel said don't actually show anything, as he said he's seen them. I think. There are some 9/11 docs, which weren't promised to us yet, which are still secret. Yeah, still haven't been declassified, which apparently reveal some information, but maybe it's about Saudis. Might be about the Saudis, supposedly. I don't know what you guys think about 9/11. That was a pretty serious ritual event of some sort. But the truth about that, I mean, as far as disclosure goes, I was thinking about disclosure on 9/11. You could just watch the videos that used to exist on the internet. I mean, they show basically conclusively, several things that the buildings were, demolished. It is weird though, the way your mind works. because when you're watching it live, at least when I was watching it live, I didn't think, oh my God, that building's exploding and turning into dust, which actually is not, or just not reasonable. I think it's because we're not experienced with buildings collapsing, skyscrapers. Like we're not experienced with how it looks because it's never happened before. So we didn't know what it was supposed to look like. That it should just be a bunch of like creaking metal or something. Instead, boom. But your mind, like at least my mind, didn't think about that when it was happening. It was very traumatic. It was traumatic. I knew somebody who was in New York City at the time, so I was traumatized by that. I was like, oh my God. It's crazy. Trauma. Mass trauma is great for mind control. So trauma. We have to have it. Or no, we don't have to have it, but it's useful to control us. All right, I'm trying to think what else. Truth Muse says the 9/11 sacrifice was orchestrated to open or sustain a portal. Portal to where or to what? Between what and what? Between us and another realm, basically. That's interesting. So, are you saying it opened one up? Actually, and it's still open today. Is there something coming in because of it? I haven't heard that before. I'm open to it though, for sure. I'm trying to think if I have any other news about Epstein. I mean, they're going to show the flight logs. People on the flight log. I mean, what are there people on there like? Who is it? Chris Tucker? Isn't it Chris Tucker who was on the plane with them with Clinton going to that AIDS benefit? So he's on there, but then you can't say, oh, conclusively. So they're okay. So the person who wrote the article for Vanity Fair was quoted as saying that there is no client list, that's kind of like a myth, the client list itself. So there isn't like, apparently, they didn't do some kind of bookkeeping where they had like a black book, like the DC madam. She had a black book of clients. I don't know if that was ever released either. Although some of the names got out. But it's not like that, apparently. Apparently, that evidence doesn't exist. But we don't know. But that's what that person says. The person who reported the Epstein story more widely in the Miami Herald, that person. So she says, "Oh, it's a myth that there's actually a client list." So I think what there is that they don't want to release, and they can have good reasons not to release it, because it's accusations. These people have never been on trial or anything, and people are going to assume they're guilty. So there are lots of accusations from lots of these girls about lots of influential people, and if people are in the mood to take that information as being factual, which they haven't been in the mood for before, then that could be problematic, certainly for the powers that be, or the people who are on or who are mentioned as being, John's to Jeffrey Epstein's line of, Mossad females. So yeah, the people don't want to say he was working for Mossad. People say he was working on behalf of Israel. That's certainly possible. He was hanging out with Ghislaine Maxwell, and Maxwell, her father, was worked for Israel. So there was some kind of related somehow to Israeli Mossad or spy or something. So it's highly likely that those ties were maintained for some kind of influence operation, which generally goes back to like, you got to bless Israel, kind of. Well, you have to. They're God's. I mean, the creator said so to them. So they're like, oh yeah, you have to bless the Jews in Israel, the descendants of Abraham. So that's typically, it's up there with what they want to influence people about. And there might be other things too. But yeah, you had Ehud Barak, right? He was involved. So he's going to be mentioned. I think he's dead now. But there certainly will be lots of names. So we'll see. I don't know. What are the odds? Like, do you think it's ever going to come out? I think the odds, like there are official odds, actually. Forget about that. I think on Polymarket, there are official odds of whether the Epstein files are ever going to come out. So here, I'll go to Polymarket. I'll show you the odds so you can see what people really think. Oh, and then you can bet on who's going to be named too. So here's what it says. So let's see. We'll have to see the definition of this bet. But it says Trump releases Epstein list today. But I wonder how they define this bet. It's like the most important thing is how the bet is actually defined. Like, what does it mean? Well, how does it win? Like, what's the payoff? What does Epstein's list mean? See, outcome proposed, yes. Disputed. So someone proposed that was resolved. Huh. See, someone actually proposed today that the bet was resolved. So they must have some kind of community that they work with, or that's able to vote on these on this site. You must be able to vote on whether the outcome's actually been completed, which means it could never be completed. Anyway, the odds right now are 64%, or 64 cents, 64%, 2-1, or close to it. So I don't know. I don't think they can do it. I think the world will end first. I mean, I think people might just like, rather than be exposed, people are might be willing to do almost anything. That's what I think. Rather than be exposed, people would be willing to have almost any other result, and they don't care about life at one bit. They don't care about anything but themselves. These things. So they're willing to do almost anything not to have people know, like how evil they're actually, like pure evil. So I just don't know if that's going to happen. I would put in a proposal like, or will the world end first, just in case. Or I would put a bet on that. Don't know. Then JFK, they're not going to show that the CIA killed JFK, whatever they release. There's no way. They're not going to say George Bush was involved. They're not going to say the files aren't going to say that, I don't think, on JFK. And then what was the other one? RFK. God, RFK. I mean, he was shot behind the ear. He was shot like right behind the ear, RFK. And supposedly Saran was up on a table from some distance shooting. I mean, there were bullets everywhere, that RFK thing. I don't know if that stuff's going to be released or not. That'd be interesting, though. It's possible. It's been long enough. It's possible. So anyway, those are the odds. 60. What did it say? Oh, the odds just changed. They changed from 63 to 66 and back to 63. Okay. So that's the odds the names are going to come out. Let's see. Let's see what else I have for you guys. Oh, speaking of Israel. So I feel inclined to go over some of the books of the Bible. So I started doing that. I started doing Enoch, and then I think I'll do Genesis. I'll start with Genesis. I don't think I'll do every book, but I just want to talk about it a little bit, I think. I don't know. I feel like I should. But speaking of Israel, and then we can get into other stuff too. We must seek to know more. We must seek to know deeper truths, deeper truths. Even if we don't find out, it's important to seek. the truth. All right. So speaking of the truth, Trump on his social media platform posted this video of what the future of Gaza. I mean, I don't know, man. This is insane. About what the future of Gaza is going to be. So we can take a look at it. Let's see. This is crazy.
Donald is coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one.
I just don't know. 33-second ad. I just don't know. 2025. Oh yeah, it shows in 2025, and then the other one is the future. The future. Trump's some kind of hero. I mean, really, he's some kind of like cosmic hero to some people in Israel. Yes, like they think he really, like he wants the Palestinians out of there completely. Which I said he was going. I mean, I told you guys it was going to be a one-state solution coming from Trump based on the people he appointed. I did say that for sure, and that appears what he wants. He wants those people off the land, basically. So, which to the Jews, they're supposed to have the land from the river to the sea. God said in Genesis. So, and they don't right now. Now they have dirty whatevers on their land that they don't want there, I guess. It's not their land, I guess, according to God, apparently. That's what they think. So Trump is definitely kind of a, he's like fighting for the people of Israel. Apparently. That's what they think. They made a coin for him. They named a town after him in the Golan Heights. Yeah, that's amazing. So anyway, so that's going on in Israel. What else is in the news? There might be other things that are important I could tell you about. I probably saved some things. Oh yeah, Apple. That's not. Don't need that. Elon Musk claims. I thought this was newsworthy. Elon Musk claims that we are on the event horizon of the singularity from which there is no return. So, which we don't know what's beyond the singularity either. So he says we're on the event horizon. He said that at 3:51 p.m. February 23rd. Well, my time. So he says, I don't know, no elaboration or anything. It doesn't seem like. Didn't elaborate. Just said that. But it's weird considering like his technology, or he's working on the technology that's responsible for that. But no worries. And he's like assumed the character of the Antichrist. He's actually assumed the character of the Antichrist pretty much willingly by using all the technology, all the hidden information, putting up the satellites, raining fire from the sky basically with his satellites. Deception with this car in space. Considering like he's trying to like don the character of a figure in the apocalypse. It's interesting. Or like he might be trying to bring in the apocalypse. Interesting for him to say that. So all right, cool. Oh, let me see. Was there anything else? Oh, yeah, Richard Maddow. That's just human. Joy Reid got fired. Rachel Maddow said it was racist. Kamala Harris said some stupid stuff. Oh, okay, this is good. Speaking of disclosure, okay, this lady, yeah, RFK Jr.'s running mate when he was running for president, Nicole Ann Shanahan. She's like, basically a full blown conspiracy theorist, pretty much, with money, which is different, for someone who's like, so anyway, not to say it's not true. I'm just saying, like, she's not to say that the conspiracy theories aren't true, just saying, like, she knows about them. So she knows about geoengineering and what they call chemtrails, or more optimistically, persistent contrails. So anyway, she made a video about it. So things are different, for sure. She was actually a candidate, a major candidate, talking about chemtrails. My goodness.
I was taking the weekend off the internet. I've been surfing this morning and was watching the planes flying overhead, and then I couldn't take it anymore. But that is not a contrail. That looked like it started as a contrail maybe, and now it's turning into a cloud. See how thick that is? You can see this one, it's a little further behind, and this one's a little bit further behind as well. This one is the one that's been up there longest. This shit has to end. This is ridiculous. It's like an otherwise perfect day.
Okay, there you go. So there you go. So speaking of disclosure, so that's a theme right now. So if we have themes in the world, we have disclosure, we have Judgment Day, we have ascension, or whatever, if you want to talk about that, evolution. Those are kind of the themes. Disclosure, certainly, though. Disclosure is a big part of it. So those are the themes for these days. And then asking for forgiveness for your sins, certainly. And trying to do things for other people. That's important. More than yourself. Just at least more than it's okay to do things for yourself still. And anyway, the way it works is, like, if you do things for other people, hopefully you get rewarded in a just system. The system's not always just, though. You're allowed to do things for yourself. Just do more things thinking of other people, other human beings. That is, people who actually exist. Well, whatever you conceive that to be. Okay? And then if we're lucky, things get better. So we should pray for that. All right? What information? What other information do I have? No, that's it. That's it for today. We're gonna leave it at that. All right. So cool. Let's see if there's anything in the chat I need to respond to. I'll hang out for a second. John Demas says, will they sell in the new temple? What do you think? I mean, okay, so God is not happy with the Jewish people. In case you haven't noticed, he's not that happy with them. So I'm not sure they're going to get their new temple or God sent the Messiah, the chosen one, the Son of Man, and they rejected him. So they think they're still waiting for the age that Christians are in now. They're still waiting for that. Like, they don't even understand what happened. So I'm not sure they're going to get their temple or their messianic age when the actual Messiah comes. I'm not sure that's actually going to happen. So, because it happened already. I mean, when he comes back, it's over. So, like, they don't understand that. The way it works is the Messiah comes. Occasionally, he might reincarnate as other deities for other people too, but mostly it's Jesus. Like, God said, we're going to send the Son of Man, this is the chosen one. He's going to come down, teach people things, and then we're going to have a new age. But then at the end, he's going to come back, and we're going to have Judgment Day. After that, something different, something totally different. So the Jews, I don't know. third temple, it doesn't matter. They kind of lost cosmically. They're cursed. Well, they were created by incest. So the entire line from Abraham. So Abraham married his sister from the same father. They were like half brother and sister, but that's not necessarily a good thing. Nature taught us that it's not good, incest, for the babies. So yeah, I don't think their line is. It was meant to be good. It was meant to be good. It was really meant to be good, but yeah, that's all about that. Diligent escapes. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, they're actually cursed. Their line is cursed, which is actually the holiest line. So, or the one that has access to certain things. But yes, I guess they've been cursed. It seems like. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, that's what happens next, though. And when Jesus said, I was really thinking about it. Like Jesus said, it would happen in this generation, but he's not exactly human. Like he does. Well, because he doesn't. There's no veil for him. So when he incarnated in 3D, there was no veil. A feature of this realm is the veil. It's an absolute feature. It's the veil of forgetting. We can't remember for this program. So, but Jesus didn't have it because he wasn't human. He was like God, or like the angels, or if you want to say extraterrestrials, that's fine too. It's the same thing. But the good ones, the really old ones, the eternal, he's the God, the creator is the oldest, super old, eternal, the eternal one. So we'll find out. And yeah, we have a veil. We don't have our connection to eternity. We don't even understand it as humans. So I don't know if Jesus is a Jewish character. The Muslims recognize him also. Cyrus, Jesus is a Jewish. He certainly was Jewish. But I'm not sure he was manufactured. It seems he was historical. It seems like the scribes, or the historian who wrote it down at least, said that he existed and was crucified. So it was a scapegoat ritual. I mean, Muhammad came and said humans can't take on other sins. Like Muhammad came and Gabriel gave him the message. So Gabriel is like God's chief messenger, and he gave Muhammad the message. So we should make sure to look at it, because they recognize Jesus, the virgin birth. They don't recognize him as God the same way. They recognize him as a prophet, but they say he's coming back for the final judgment. It's a similar story. Their judgment day and Christian judgment day is not too far apart, except Muhammad will be there, but Jesus is coming. Jesus will come back. Zoom down, whatever. So Jesus doesn't have a lineage, Gary, because of the virgin birth. So, which means he may be disconnected from both the mother and the father, although the Bible connects him to the holy line of Abraham and stuff, all the way back to Noah. Well, Noah and then Shem, actually. Shem was the chosen son of Noah out of his 3 sons. He was the one that God smiled on. So he's the one whose descendants who had descendants through Abraham, who are the people of Canaan. They were given Canaan, the river to the sea. But if his mother was Jewish, then he was Jewish by law. So as long as Mary was Jewish, then Jesus was Jewish, no matter who his father was. So, but anyway, yeah, Muhammad came. So the on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, which is the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, the rabbi would come sacrifice a goat. I'm sorry, they would transfer their sins to. He transfer his sins and repent for his sins and sacrifice a bull, and then 2 goats. So, and it's 2 goats. One which is sacrificed to the Creator, to Yahweh, and one which is on which all of the sins of the community are magically imbued into this goat. So all the sins of Israel go into this, or in this case, like the community, go into the goat, and then the goat is actually sacrificed to Azazel, the leader of the fallen angels. So that's their ritual. So it was in Jesus, it was a Jewish, he was the scapegoat. On him were given all of the sins of humanity, and then he was sacrificed ritually, allegedly. At least his his spirit was sacrificed. There was a human being which continued to live as Isa, right? Which is what the Muslims call him. Who went to India and stuff, but the holy, like God or whatever, ascended, right, back to a higher dimensional plane where he came from, where he could sit with God and hang out until Judgment Day. So anyway, so yeah, Jesus was a scapegoat. Muhammad came and Gabriel told him that you couldn't do that. You couldn't transfer sin anymore. So apparently that's I don't know if that's like a new covenant or whatever, but the scapegoat ritual, the ritual of sacrifice, that ritual sacrifice would no longer be, and Muhammad wouldn't take on the sins of anybody. So, all right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'll check the chat. Where do the Ashkenazim? I'm not sure. And I'm not sure that it's literal. It is literal, the Bible, in the sense that it's true, at least cosmically in some sense. I'm not sure if it's literal. But yeah, I don't know where the Ashkenazim come from. But it was made clear in the book that Ham was not of Noah's. So Noah, who apparently was, who looked like an angel or an alien, depending on like a Pleiadian, gave birth to Shem, Ham, and I think the other one's Japheth. I think Ham. It's made clear in Genesis, which I might talk about tomorrow, that Ham isn't that great. Like he's kind of shady or whatever. And then I think the people like the Ethiopians came from Ham, but Shem, it was said that he was godly. And then they show, it's made very clear actually in Genesis, the descendants of Shem, which goes to Abraham, who didn't have a son until he was 100 years old. And that was Isaac. And then Isaac, everybody from there. So I don't know where the Ashkenazim. I have to look into it. I have to do research. I really have to do research to learn things. I can only learn so much. Let's see. That's right. Yeah, Jesus was pissed off about money. Jesus was pissed off about money. Like he wanted God. He's very clear in the New Testament through Jesus Christ that you can't worship money and God at the same time. So Jesus came in, he declared it a Jubilee year, his coming. And in the Lord's Prayer, which wasn't the King James translation, but is the proper translation, it says, "Forgive us our debts." So he came to release people from the bondage of debt, free the people, release the debt, right? Jubilee. And then he was mad, he was really mad, righteously very angry at the Jewish money changers and bankers and so forth. So yeah, he came and he was really pissed off. Like Jesus was, he had conviction. He really had conviction. So yeah, he flipped over the tables and stuff. And they were doing it. They were doing it in the temple too. That's the worst part. In the temple. So, that's the other thing about the Jewish apocalypse. We have to follow all the laws, or in that version, you have to follow all the laws, which no human does right now. Currently, I'm not aware. Like, humans don't follow the laws. So they would have to do that for Israel to. So until then, they're cursed. Until they follow God's law. And God was really into laws, like rules and regulations. That's the beautiful physics of this planet. But then other laws too, to try to control us, because we were given free will, and free will we knew free will was going to be a problem, but it was necessary. So Scotty says it's not hard to rise to the top of this beast system if you're total. If you pray to the wrong gods and disobey the law, if you worship the wrong gods, then those gods can certainly do things for you. So it's not hard to rise. It's not that it's not hard. It's just that it's possible. It certainly is possible. Jesus. He might think it's funny. Golden statues of Trump in the temple. I know. Do you think they'll sell them in the temple? We're certainly not made to worship men. That's made clear, I think, in the scripture. That we're definitely not supposed to worship men. But idols, I think, are maybe even worse. Okay. David Hunt says, if you have a conscience, then you have no free will. If you have a conscience, then you have no free will. In a way, we don't have free will, but we do, kind of. We do, certainly. But we do, kind of. Sorry, I keep saying it. I say we do, and then I say we kind of do. No-hide laws. Yeah, I think those are them. But do you know what the no-hide laws are, Spaldo? Look into it. Let's see. Ask the AI. I've been talking to the AI quite a bit. I've been talking to Grok. He's okay. Grok is okay. He's not perfect, but he's good. He's good. I bring him a lot of new novel concepts. Oh, they were Noah's laws? Okay, sure. Noah was a conduit. 7 Noahide laws. Okay, here we go. Good. Excellent. Now we know what they are. Laws. Not to worship idols. Okay, hold on here. The Noahide laws are a set of commandments that outline the minimum moral duties of all people. Not to worship idols, not to curse God, not to commit murder, not to commit adultery or sexual immorality, not to steal, not to eat flesh from a living animal. Geez, I wonder what that means. And then to establish courts of justice. Really, the Noahide laws you can follow. You can definitely follow those. Easier than the commandments. Yeah, okay, that's easy. I can follow those. I follow those laws. Oh, well, except I eat flesh right now. I really like I don't know. I was a vegetarian. I know Daniel was a vegetarian, and he certainly was godly. So, and then some people say Jesus was too, but animals are harmed to grow food. So I'm not sure not to eat flesh torn. Well, that may mean if I were to read that, I would just say not to be torn, not to eat flesh torn from a living animal. I mean, it just means you kill it first, I think. I mean, I would interpret it that way. I think it's safe to say that. If that's the way it's written, if that's the actual words, not to eat flesh torn from a living animal, yeah, that would be wrong to tear flesh from a living animal. That's what animals do. You would certainly want to humanely kill the animal first. And then it's okay, I think. I think it's okay to eat meat, probably. We're kind of designed that way. Oh, yeah. And he wasn't vegan, right? Because he did like dairy. That's correct. And didn't he eat bug shit or something created by, what is it, manna or something when he was in the desert? Didn't he eat that? Did he eat bugs too? Somebody did. Didn't John eat bugs? I think John ate bugs. John was some kind of vegetarian, maybe. I think John ate bugs, locusts and honey. I think that's what he primarily ate. So, Gary Americana says, "Sorry, I don't know. Some kind of secretion. That's all I should say. Some kind of secretion from bugs is what I meant. I'm sorry. It's profane. No reason to be profane here. Oh my God, it's been almost an hour. That's excellent. I had no idea. I thought it was going to be much shorter. Good, good. An hour is a good amount of time. Perfect. Noah, yes. Enoch. I talked about Enoch. Enoch is like, they really don't go into Enoch in the Bible. He became Metatron. He keeps the Akashic records. Enoch does. Enoch became a alien, or basically he was accepted to their society. He walked with God so well. God really loves scribes like Enoch. So he became the scribe. He writes in the book of life. Everything that ever happens anytime, there's like a blockchain basically that keeps track of literally everything that's ever happened, every thought you've ever had, sequentially to the beginning of time. And Metatron is responsible for that, who's Enoch, who is Noah's great grandfather and walked with God and could talk to him and his angels directly. Noah descended from Enoch. And the Noahide laws actually make sense. I think the Noahide laws are good. We can follow those for sure. So if we can follow those laws, then we are on our way. Okay, cool. We're good. Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into the show. I appreciate you. I might do the book of Genesis tomorrow in the beginning, just for fun. There's just some interesting stuff people don't talk about much. So, Sodom and Gomorrah, pillar of salt, sacrificing your only son because God told you that's what he wanted. Very serious. All kinds of crazy incest and stuff. So it's good. Concubines, it's weird. So might be doing that one. All right, guys. Have fun or be good. Be blessed. And we'll see you, I think, tomorrow. If that works for you. I think tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific time. We'll try to do a show for you guys tomorrow, okay? All right. Great to see you, and we will see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.